Gladiators that we're used to. They like their summon heroes. They like this Enchantress quite a bit, and the Chen actually, and they like being able to do aggro tri-lanes. What is it about that they like these concepts so much?
Well, ASUS used to be a carry, you know, so anytime he can get some farm, some solo XP, he's gonna be pretty happy. I think his hero pool is just one of those hero pools where if he can get a one-on-one or even a one-on-two, if he can survive it, his heroes, they use the XP so well. Lycan's another one of these. If you can get to the fast 8 to 9 range, he's going to be super happy. And the same with some of these broods and those types of heroes. The downside is you end up in these one-on-twos. You can get heavily abused, as we've seen. And this is another situation where hopefully they learn from that other series. You have to get the punish on the other end, which is lay the damage into Gabby and make sure he's not getting as much CS as he would prefer to be getting in this Bristle early game.
Yeah, it seems like T1 did take perhaps a little bit of flavor from the Liquid matchup against Gaimin Gladiators, where they also took the carry Bristle back, and they actually did the aggro tri-lane and such, but it was the Enigma plus Clockwork lane that destroyed Ace's Broodmother really badly. But I have to imagine that lane would be a lot harder. This matchup, double range heroes in the bottom lane against the Lycan, but I have to feel like Ace is still going to get something out of it.
This is definitely an easier lane to survive in. You also have the Wolves, which are stronger early. Remember that Brood matchup, you have basically nothing to fight for him early on.
True.
This lane, Lycan has natural regen. He's still kept the equilibrium under his tower. Phoenix is not the best hero to super punish you early on. So he's going to be able to survive this one-on-two, and Cuckoo giving him the tip, but tip for what? For what, son?
Don't know. Meanwhile, Gabby continues to be harassed by this aggro tri-lane that's coming out from Gaimin Gladiators, but Bristleback is one of the better heroes to return fire, at least. You can see everybody is having to burn through regen here. We're also looking at that mid matchup a little bit, which Carl seems to be doing a very good job. Lina versus Storm Spirit, though, kind of favors Lina, but, I mean, you've had some pretty high praise for Carl as a mid laner.
I mean, I think this guy is easily a top 3 mid of the tournament based on the gameplay we've seen and how important this guy is to his team. He's an extremely skilled laner, and again, as the game progresses, this guy knows how to scale his heroes, he knows how to itemize. This is definitely the player to watch out for this team, and it's almost where you wish this Enchantress could gank mid for this Storm, but not with the regen differential being this large this early. And T1, they warded for it as well, so they were already thinking about what that their own safe lane jungle ob. That's an uncommon ob to ward in a lot of games. This is, you know, potentially the strength of March, giving him the heads up.
Ace, the 2-1-2 matchup, it's going to be good enough. They do manage to kill the Lycan, so they weren't able to shut him down experience-wise as much as that previous lane that we were talking about. But meanwhile, the aggro tri-lane does manage to find its own kill, and Gabby is also very, very low. In fact, they're going to go for the kill. He's got 5 stick charges, but they couldn't get the toss backwards. They didn't even necessarily need it.
Quill
if they just hit a toss straight up in the air. They do manage to get it. Celery just ducks forward with the Enchantress's extra movement speed. She hits the one impetus required to get the kill.
And double range creep going down after that Bristle death, so he's definitely not happy about that one.
Oh, yeah. That's,
you know, maybe if you end up in these regen extrades, but you get the XP, you can kind of justify it, but that's going to hurt. But the flip side, that's kind of the one lane that's going well for Gaimin Gladiators. The other two, not looking amazing. Again, Ace in the 1v2. Okay, you can accept the trade-off there as long as you can pay it back later in the game. But this mid lane is... it's getting a little dangerous. Carl's almost a full level ahead here.
Yeah.
T1, they're looking to abuse it. Zephyr, he's poking his head in and out here.
Gaimin Gladiators did have a pretty defensive high ground ward that spotted Zephyr's rotations over here, so that's why Boom's playing the far left-hand side and not trying to get an ECS right now. He knows once he pops his head forward, if he gets hit by an LSA, he's going to get followed up by a Shackle. So he's going to wait until Celery gets here, and Celery is indeed in the neighborhood now, so... probably not the creep he wanted, but he's going to stack it up, at least for the Storm Spirit.
Perhaps not the creep he deserved, but...
oh, they're actually going to switch the lanes.
Yeah, I mean, normally if you do this, you'd like to be able to gank for it with the numbers and then swap it up, but
yeah,
their heroes are just not designed to do it, so...
that's true.
Trying to make the best of the situation. I mean, Bristle can function okay from the offlane, especially if he gets some of that triangle stack later. And this is probably the matchup they wanted in the first place.
Right.
This Bristle Lycan. The downside is now, Lycan's level 5. and you're putting this Phoenix in the safe lane, it's a bit more awkward at this point in the game. So they're not going to get exactly what they would have wanted ideally.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like I question whether or not, like, being a level behind, how much pressure Bristleback's going to be able to put in there. But I guess with Shadow Shaman, one of the best supports you can ask for in a 1v2 scenario. Maybe they will be able to keep him down. But Carl, he's being pressured right now. He's got the rest of his supports right behind him. They're going to actually hurricane him into the Storm Sphere, but that's perfect for Carl. He turns around, blasts down the Storm Sphere with the help of Zephyr and Whitemon. And unfortunately for Carl, he really wanted the rune as well. They're not going to get that. Instead, they're going to try and kill the hard camp creep. He's forced to pop the Fairy Fire to stay alive, but no refill on the bottle. He'll have to get all that regen from his supports.
This is a mid lane where you definitely want to win those rune fights, and that's why we're seeing 6 heroes there at 6 minutes. These power runes are super pivotal for Storm. It's one of the things about this hero that accelerates him so fast. If he can shove the wave in and help his team secure him for himself, it goes a long way. So I'm excited to see that T1 understand this, and they're pressuring that mid lane off the back of that lean advantage too.
Double damage, Cuckoo in trouble. He had already used the Icarus dive. He had been doing a really good job. Actually, he's going to give him a... Oh, no! He wanted to click across, and he blocked him with the ward. Oh, no. You saw Cuckoo. He was pinging that one.
I'm glad he's laughing about it.
Yeah. He probably figured, man, maybe it was a bit of a long shot. Either way, he gets to reset. He was doing a good job of pressuring the Tiny, though. He was doing a really great job with those Fire Spirits, but...
That is a point where you will be happy as that matchup progresses later in the game. This is one of the better matchups versus Tiny in general.
Yeah.
It's very rare you can kill the egg. Though I do wonder with this, the new tech, the Moon Shard builds, maybe it flips the script a little bit, you know? Maybe we're going to see some Tiny killing some eggs instead of the other way around.
Yeah, it could be. You're talking about the Moon Shard rush that we're seeing out of these Tinies.
I mean, he's got it queued up. He already knows.
Yeah. So that will be pretty interesting.
Yeah.
He's still a melee hero, and if he gets hit by Fire Spirits, I have to manage it's still going to be a struggle. But, yeah, I mean, if he can get some hits in.
I mean, even him being able to get 1 to 3 as opposed to 0 would be a big deal, right?
Yeah, especially in the first couple of eggs, for sure. Storm Sphere is going to be able to stop the shackles, but it's too late for Celery, who gave away a dominating streak over to Carl. Boom. Uses the rest of his mana to ensure that he does get the haste rune, the refill of the bottle, but still, that was a healthy amount of net worth. Look at the Lina. Carl sitting at 3,500 net worth after that big kill.
He's having a great game.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
And this is one of those games where he's happy to call his supports mid because, again, he was winning the matchup. Yeah. That's exactly what you want to happen. I don't like these situations where you have these advantageous matchups, your mid's winning the lane, and then what do you do with it? Nothing. I think you're just missing an opportunity to really punish the enemy, take more advantage, and create an aggressive opportunity later. And that's what T1's thinking about, because they're going to use their obs aggressively on that triangle pretty early in the game here.
Yeah.
That tells me they want to play through this advantage they've created off this mid lane. And this is not... Use this Lina to, you know, slay the enemy, not the jungle creeps. Sure. That's what I would like to see.
I feel like that's always your mentality, though. You're always wanting the players and teams to be more aggressive.
Well, yeah, because I'm a 5 player, you know, so I'm not going to be hitting ancient creeps, so you got to come fight with me.
That's true. That makes sense now. Cuckoo, trying to hold this safe lane tower. I want to ask you about this core Phoenix and what you think of it. Cuckoo played it once yesterday as well. A lot of people were thinking, okay, yeah, Phoenix, he got a huge buff off of the patches, so maybe this hero's got to be able to come back, but I think most people are expecting it to be support. Core Phoenix, are you feeling it for this patch?
I think it has potential. The other player that comes to mind with this is Whisper, who likes to play it a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, he makes it look good. I think Cuckoo's made it look good. This hero builds decent items for the patch. He can play that utility role. His spells will do damage on their own in these matchups like versus Tiny. He always gives you amazing team fight and the heals to sustain. I think it's an interesting hero this patch. Maybe a bit unexplored. The one thing about this hero, though, is as he gets hit by a tree.
Oof.
I would like to see how the interactions play out in terms of the disables for him to output the damage. So I think that's always a big thing with the hero. Historically, you've seen him with heroes like Axe, Mars.
Yeah, keeping people in an area, right?
When he's the 3, then it becomes the question of, okay, who's keeping people locked in a certain area for his egg, for his Sun Ray to deal the damage? That's going to be the bigger question. It kind of seems like it falls to the Shadow Shaman for Zephyr, but Shadow Shaman's not always the guy who can go in and start stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Karl, he's going to get jumped on the ace. He's going to pop his ultimate, but there are plenty of T1 heroes here. They're going to actually pop that Fiend Grip from Tofu coming in from the other side. A perfect sandwich from Gaimin Gladiators, but the rest of the fight may not be so good as they've managed to get the Hex Shackles onto the Storm Spirit, locking him down and getting an important kill. A 1-for-2 trade so far. Ace is going to have to use that rest of that wolf form to get on out of here.
Cuckoo didn't even feel pressure to egg there in that entire engagement.
Yeah.
So, kind of an interesting turn. They do get the 2-for-1, but these are these early Lycan ults where you really want to get a lot out of these engagements. And again, this is this T1 team. You feel like you kind of win a fight, and at the same time, it felt like they lost it in a way.
Oh, Celery tried. He was hoping his creep would be able to deliver enough damage to finish off the tower. Instead, it's denied by Whitemon. 7-4, and pretty even game so far. Gaimin Gladiators kind of doing what we expected, using a bit of their Zoo heroes to take down some early Tier 1 towers. T1 playing a lot slower in that regard, trusting that they're going to be able to hit a certain timing. What timing is that, though?
Bristleback Ags.
Okay.
That's what it always is. This hero is about Vanguard into Ags and try and match that tempo of Gaimin Gladiators. If you can get it before they try and do something like Force or Roche, I think you have a chance to fight it and deny the Storm his Aegis.
Gabby, he's a little bit low already, but oh, Boom actually ignores that, goes for Zephyr instead. With the Haste Rune, he doesn't give a damn about that Hex, and they're actually going to leave their Bristleback behind. Zephyr's coming back in, they're going to pop the egg now. With the Shackles going out, Gabby's still alive, the egg is going to die, but Gabby, oh no, he got pushed back in! Great use of that Owlbear by Celery to kick back the original kill they were looking for. 3 big pickups for Gaimin Gladiators. They picked themselves right back up after an awkward mid-lane team fight and keep up that aggression.
This is the name of the game for the next 8 minutes here. How much damage can you inflict with this early Enchantress Lycan lineup? I thought that egg was going to be nice because when I first saw it, I thought he hit it on the high ground. That's what he was aiming for, but he ended up getting stuck on the low ground, barely there, and all of a sudden, oh, there's a nice little egg we can pop.
Yeah.
Maybe that fight goes a bit different if you can land the spells. We're going to see they're pretty low here at the end. The power of this Bristle Phoenix, you're going to get low almost no matter what. But just not enough to clean him in the tank, and definitely a loss for Tier 1. They're going to smoke up, though, and
they try, but Tofu actually intercepts. No, he's actually fast enough. He's able to stay ahead of all of these heroes, so he's going to be good to go. T1, outside of that little move from them, they're not ready to really team fight just yet. I'm looking at Karl's farm right now, and he is closing in on that BKB rush. So next time they have a fight like that, maybe Karl will be ready to go. But with this Moon Shard timing on the Tiny and the fact that we're not going Boots of Travel on Karl, it feels like T1, they've got to be the ones to actually take over the game in this like next 10 minutes. Otherwise, I think this Tiny starts getting out of control.
Definitely has a decent road to accelerate out of control here, especially with the stacks on the triangle right now.
Oh yeah, they're
absolutely insane, and they're fighting for this rune. But again, this is 4 heroes from T1 to combat an area where Dyrachyo, he doesn't give a damn right now. He's just going to town.
Doesn't even wait for his shard pickup, which is kind of interesting. I bet he'll wait to do the Ancients maybe until he actually has the shard, but he clears out the hard camp at least.
There were a decent amount of stacks for this Bristle as well. Looking at it, pretty even on both sides, but there's another 5-man smoke from T1. Feels a little unconventional for them. They feel pressured to get a bit more done in this early game so they don't fall behind. But again, they don't have some super easy catch hero, a Blink Burrow or a Blink Arena, right?
Yeah.
Well, this is one way to gain some advantage back, though.
Yeah, certainly. I thought maybe they were just going to do it with the Smoke Bristle, but they're actually all going to start laying into this camp, trying to clear it as quick as possible. Really great steal for them. Because you could see the way the Tiny was accelerating past Karl already, even without that Ancient stack. So, good way to slow him down. Courier is going to get picked by Celery. T1 are actually going to go straight into the pit, not giving a damn if Gaimin Gladiators knows or not.
And this is the power of that BKB rush on Carl. They feel confident to take the fight, even if Gladiators could run in with the Lycan and Tiny. Addition to the Shaman wards just dies so fast here.
Yeah, it does.
That's a nice pickup. We're seeing some of the tempo counter clash here. Who's gonna get what while their spells are up? Doesn't feel like we've seen a Lycan ult in a decent amount of time.
No, we haven't. But then again, he hasn't really seemed to be pressured to do so at all, right?
Yeah, to a degree, and also T1, they just clumped so early in this game. He'd prefer to have the weak part of the herd to attack, but if you're gonna 5-man Dota like this in 15 minutes, do you want to just run in here versus Shackles, Egg, a Vanguard Bristle? Probably not.
That's true. Want to be like a lion or a cheetah, pick off the last of the herd. And T1 staying tightly grouped here. Going to use that Aegis advantage just to roll through mid, take that mid tower, but you know, Gaimin Gladiators are spread across the map, so no doubt they're out farming T1 with this kind of play. As long as nobody gets caught, Dyrachyo actually having a pretty good read here, knowing that he needs to get out. Sees a lot of farm mid to pick up too. And he has the shard, so this big boy is about to get a whole lot bigger if he is uninterrupted in farm for the next 10.
Hey, where'd my ancient stacks go, guys? I told you to stack this game. Miss him a little bit, but I mean, this hero's just a machine with this build.
Dude, look at that. Celery actually pulled the mid wave up the river straight to Dyrachyo.
What a bro.
That is some Uber Eats right there.
Yeah, that's
delivered straight to your door.
He's not getting flamed after this game, no matter what happens. Hey, man, I set you up. What do you want me to do? It's a nice way to use these creeps. It adds a lot to your map pressure and map control. Yeah. Even little things like that.
Yeah, this is the power of the Moonshard we're talking about. He just went from Moonshard to Aghanim Shard to Blink Dagger within the space of like 4 minutes. Now he's actually he can kind of start some fights potentially. Carl is gonna lay some damage on him. I don't think he's expecting much past just giving Dyrachyo a little bit of warning. Hey, don't farm that far forward.
Now Gladiators, they have this BKB on Boom. This is kind of the big window for Storm in this patch. Is he feels immortal during this period.
Yeah. But who's actually immortal is this guy right here, Carl. Or at least he thinks he's immortal.
Yeah, Gladiators think there's people behind him, but he's actually alone here. This is the power of the Aegis. This is how you want to use it. Instill the fear. Yeah. Even when it's not the reality.
And I feel like maybe if it was just the Aegis, they might have committed to that Lina kill and be like, oh no, we can kill him twice. But Aegis and BKB, I mean, that just looks like something you don't want to commit to. Carl is going to survive through the tiny combo, but the Storm Spirit is going to be there. And actually will finish off the Aegis and maybe get Whitemon as well. Yeah, with that BKB, it's going to be pretty damn easy. Carl's Aegis gets burned. Rest of Gaimin Gladiators aren't in a position to go for more because some of them are currently trying to push out top. Ace, he's going to pop his ultimate here out of perhaps a little bit of fear of getting caught and maybe seeing an opportunity to go for more. They're going to be able to catch it with the Fiend's Grip, the Phoenix on the side, while Ace is making sure the rest of them are tucked underneath their tier 2 tower, Ace afraid for their lives.
They know they're stuck under this tier 2. 2 heroes dead and the biggest team fighter.
And the tier 2 about to fall as well, so there won't be any TP rotations. One last one coming in. Dyrachyo is going to be the first one to jump in with his Blink Dagger. They spotted Zephyr, and Boom will collect. Dominating streak for him now.
Feels like Gladiators weathered that early part of the 5-man Storm by T1 super well, got to their item timings, and now they can pick and choose the fights because, again, who is going to start stuff for this T1 lineup? That is the downside of their heroes right now. It's all on this Shaman. He's not finding anything that he wants to find at this point, so yeah. Gladiators are going to be able to dictate the next 10, almost feels like 10 minutes. That's such a long time in Dota, but...
And it also feels like with this like early BKB rush of Carl, it just felt like that's not T1, you know? I expect Carl to be going for that the fast boot to travel and to be like out farming the enemy by playing all over the map with the bots. But because he went to BKB first, we thought they were going to try and do something in that 15-minute window. Couldn't get anything real done besides the Roshan pickup. And now feels like they're going to be falling pretty far behind and maybe not being able to scale, which we've said is one of the key components to a lot of T1 success over the last year or two.
Does feel like that, but that's where this team is deceptive.
That's the deceptive part.
The second you think they're not scaling, suddenly fights might become a little challenging, you know? And that is still the power of their lineup. Their heroes are very difficult to run into and just commit to the fight. The upside is Gladiator's lineup has a decent amount of ability to poke and kite it out. Like we saw in that fight around the mid-tier 1, they can jump this lead even if she has Aegis, kill the Pugna, there's an egg, and so what? Storm just leaps out, Lycan just runs away.
Yeah,
That's the type of fight Gladiators really want. But if T1 can sustain through that initial jump, then they kind of win the fight just by a product of this Lycan ult will run out and Storm runs out of mana.
Yeah.
That's a lot to sustain through in this patch, you know.
They're going to run into Gabby here. Gabby, who has a Vanguard Gem Aghanim Scepter, so he is very tanky. And they're relying on him for a bit of ward control here. Celery, nice use of Glimmer TP, no stuns. And that is going to be kind of a constant problem for T1 in some regards.
Do have a Blink Dagger on Zephyr now, though. And that is probably the most impactful item for this team.
Oh, yeah.
For a decent amount of time, because now they do have a way to initiate. They have a way to lock people down right off the start of the fight and force Gladiators to commit. It's one of the biggest conceptual things for their lineup here. Ace, he has a full Assault Cuirass. The amount of damage this Tiny's going to output if he's allowed to hit people, it's monstrous, so...
Yeah, no Helmet Dominator, no Helm of the Overlord, Vlad's AC, Wraith Pact.
It's an interesting build. Bit different than your old school Lycans. I've even seen some pub Lycans playing with the Shard, so...
Okay.
Don't hate it till you try Zephyr, though.
Interesting. Blink initiation onto the Storm Sphere. That's a perfect one. But can they do the damage fast enough? The Shackle, it's going to run out eventually. The BKB goes off. Boom's able to jump away. Boom's able to jump back in. Couldn't get the regen rune. That would have been a big pickup. Zephyr having some problems with some wolves here is going to be kept alive by his Geek Fam bro of Whitemon. Those two have been together since 2020 Geek Fam, and they stay together now on T1. Whitemon protecting his other support.
That is the exact type of fight T1 wants to take, and that is the power of this Pugna hero. Decreps Zephyr there and keeps him alive for the full duration of that Shackle, which almost lets them get the Storm. They're going to get both supports off the back end of this.
Pretty nice.
This is what I'm saying, man. This T1 team, they know how to make their lineups work. They know the weaknesses, how to itemize.
Oh, they're going to try and go for the Bristleback. Bristleback didn't manage to turn around for a second, but the pullback was so long, Durancio got around him and beat him in the face. That was nasty. Hefty amount of damage. Gabby.
Bare knuckles right there.
It really was. Well, not bare knuckles. He's using a weapon.
Bare
that guy
rock.
picked up a giant log. Cuckoo. Okay, Shackles. Oh, see if he can get the dive away. He does. Zephyr, though, not so lucky. Doesn't have the same kind of mobility that the Phoenix has. He used the BKB for that. I have to imagine he'd like to be able to take that outpost at least and maybe start posturing for some more objectives. Like Roshan, potential spawn time has started. It's actually going to be up in 2 minutes' time, so Gaimin Gladiators undoubtedly want to be able to play for that.
That's going to be huge for them either way.
Look at
this
that
Bristol
damage.
is just not tanky at all.
No.
If he's actually getting hit by this Tiny, he will evaporate. That is the one big question mark for T1 in this period is, can this Bristol frontline and get in the fight? Or do they need Zephyr to find the openings, which kind of feels like they do.
Or, they at least need Whitemon behind the Bristleback, right? Because he has a problem with the damage of the Tiny. So if you at least have Decrepify behind him and some life drain heals, then I bet Gabby would be more fine. They're going to pop it. Ace, they're going to try and initiate. Boom, he sees the opportunity to catch the backline, and a beautiful avalanche coming in from Durancio. No Phoenix at all, and they're going to keep Gabby slowed down here while the Fiend's Grip also catches Zephyr. So they're going to say, okay, screw it. We can leave the Bristleback behind for now. Let's make sure we get the Shadow Shaman. Durancio actually wants to keep going for it. Avalanche, maybe a toss back. Oh, the tree by itself and the toss isn't going to be quite enough, but they're going to turn around and start laying into the tier 3. This is the speed we were talking about. Gaimin Gladiators, they like being able to end games before 30 minutes. BKB going off from Carl, tried to just push them out of the base, delivers a hefty amount of damage to Celery, now kicking Durancio back as well. Boom's going to reinitiate, and they're actually going to be able to bring down the Phoenix again. No egg for a second time. Boom, though, he's out of mana. Oh, no. Traded out for a Phoenix. That cannot feel good. Both cores of Gaimin Gladiators They thought they had an opening there to be able to crack open the whole game by going for the push, disrespecting the impact of Karl.
Karl's just a monster. This guy, he doesn't give a crap about anything. If he thinks he's strong, he's going in, defending his base here. It will be a dieback on Cuckoo. Doesn't get an egg off in either fight. Just nice jump and chain stunning by Gladiators. Tiny, Darachi will pay the price along with Boom, but the biggest thing off of this is this was this fight before the Roshan spawn.
Oh no.
Now T1 are going to try and take advantage of it. Boom, buyback to contest this.
What a disaster. They're going to poke at Whitemon here to Crepify. They quickly dispel that one, but he turns around and just starts healing through. Boom's going to commit and manages to kill Whitemon again. He's going to be hunting that Pugna all game long alongside the Shadow Shaman, and he gets both. A double for Boom. A decent outcome for a bad situation.
They want more here, though.
They're going to try. Do they have any hero? I mean, they don't have the Tiny, so I don't know how they possibly stop these two cores, so.
But Karl, he gets the Aegis off that. And once again, T1 robbing Gladiators of this Aegis ability to go higher on their lineup really wants this game, especially when you have this Storm Spirit. I mean, this goes back almost a decade, but this is like the best Aegis user in the game.
Yeah.
Especially now that, you know, his mana pool is worth a lot more with those nulls, so get to double up all those nulls off the multiple lives. That's how it works, right?
yeah.
Three nulls squared.
Yeah.
That's like 9 nulls or something, you know.
Gaimin Gladiators, oh man, if they lose this game, they're going to look back at that moment where they won that fight mid, and then they could have reset and just controlled for Roshan, but instead overextended and inadvertently give the Roshan up to T1.
I don't even think that end result was bad for them. It was just the timing of it.
Yeah.
The end result's bad because I don't even think T1, I mean, they're always happy to take Aegis, but I think it's honestly more about denying Gladiators that Aegis and Roshan. Every time they can bring it onto themselves instead of the other way around, that's what feels good for them. And that was Shard too, right? So
yeah, good news is the Shard did go over to Cuckoo, which obviously he can only use the Shard if he uses the egg. So far, so good, Gaimin Gladiator.
Not a very optimistic approach there I see you're taking.
Listen, maybe that just means that Cuckoo's going to be popping the egg even earlier, just because now he can throw out the Sun Ray with it.
Well, now Karl can just go in with the Aegis, right?
That's true.
So now, a bit easier to get that egg off.
Yeah, he's got two different frontliners who can just throw their bodies out there, and he can try and react to it. They're going to be able to catch the Tiny. Immediately response from Zephyr. Drops the wards as well. Boom. Instant response to the support showing themselves. The Crepify actually keeping him alongside the life drain, but the Fiend's group on the Bristleback. He needs help. Somebody help him. Oh, no. He just gets beaten down by the Tiny once again, while Ace is trying to isolate out Karl. No wake again. The Shard for nothing. And Karl limping back to his base with the Aegis. But he doesn't have a Bristleback for 50. He doesn't have his Phoenix for 35. A double damage on the Tiny? They might just go straight up high ground. I don't know if Karl can stop this again.
Double damage Tiny at this point in the game is... This is your entire base almost if you don't take the fight. Can Karl 1v4 again?
They're just going to sleep him. They're just going to be like, okay, all right, you're going to pop the glyph. We're going to go ahead and deal with you real quickly. Second life. He's got the BKB if needed, but all of his buildings in the mid lane are gone. And 15 seconds till the Bristleback is up, so Gaimin Gladiators not going to overextend themselves again. Reset and just farm out the map. Immediate smoke up from T1. They're not even waiting for the Bristleback to be up. They're trying to catch Gaimin Gladiators here by surprise with this time.
Cuckoo wants to use an egg.
He wants it real bad.
He's going to use it here.
And they're going to be able to catch up to some of these heroes. Shiva's going off on the side. The TP in from the Bristleback. But again, Boom being able to find the two supports instantly demolishes them again and again and again. He keeps on fighting, and the egg may have gone off, but Darachi had more than enough attack speed alongside Ace. Gabby, he doesn't have a way out of this one. He's stuck inside the trees, surrounded by so many heroes. Gaimin Gladiators are going to be able to catch up to him. LSA, nice dodge back there. A step backwards from Gaimin Gladiators. Zephyr also had to put himself in harm's way to make sure that their carry, quote-unquote, got out. Well, really, it's more their 2 position. It feels like Karl's the real carry of this team at this point.
I mean, Cuckoo got his egg off, but Karl just BKB TP'd out. He wanted absolutely none of that fight.
Yeah.
Probably for good reason. Darachi just destroyed that thing.
He really did.
He's been a beast this game, just rampaging through. And even more upside. He can get buffed to an insane degree this game. And Ags on the bucket list for Ace here.
Yeah.
I should say the grocery list. He's almost done with it. This is going to be your tiny Lycan of old here. Maybe the upgraded version, the Terminator 2.
Throwback to TI-10. Look at this. Every single time, Boom has just been so locked in on what he needs to do in these fights. Every single time those supports show himself, he full zips in with his BKB, and he kills both of them. And Zapper almost dying there. Decrepify's going to bail him out for a second here, but he tossed. It's going to land on his head. Beautiful ward trap that is going to be able to catch Celery. Dyrachyo is able to fight his way out, but he slowed down the Shivas, and he's not going to get out with a Silver Edge either. In fact, they're going to look for more, and they do find it. Tofu dies as well. A triple pickup for T1.
Maybe getting a little overconfident here.
Yeah.
This is T1 after all. You can never count them out. And yeah, that Shadow Shaman, he looks tasty, but that's your Tiny jumping him, not your Storm. These Decreps have been on point every single time. That last fight we saw, Boom, he jumps the Pugna first because he's been tired of this Shadow Shaman getting Decrept. So he's going to force that out. There, Dyrachyo does not have the same luxury. And once his BKB's out, that's when Gabby can go to town with these Goo stacks and Sunray, all of these percent burn. Nice ward trap off the death, stalling it up. This Bristleback, he's still going to do a lot of damage if he can get to hit people.
Yeah, absolutely. So what did we take from that? Gaimin Gladiators, like just, what is it, a simple overextension? Or does he need to let, like does Dyrachyo just focus on being able to hit the Bristleback and let Boom clean up those supports like he's been doing?
You just take the fight with your Storm, right? Boom is so strong.
Yeah.
This guy's 13-3. He has the easiest jumps of his life. He's always going to find Pugna, Shadow Shaman. He's always going to get his BKB off, and there's no counterplay to that.
Yeah.
On top of it, he has an Ags. Let this Ags do the work. You come in with the tree near the end. It's going to be the easiest cleanup of your life, right? You also have a grip sitting behind you, the utility from Enchantress. If you force the fight like that and make Gabby commit, that's when Tofu will grip him every time.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, this Bristle's not dealing the damage that T1 needs to turn that fight around.
Also, I mean, this Aghanim Scepter is such a big timing. You were talking about how the way they can play in and out of the team fights. Well, now all three of their cores can very rapidly get in and out of the team fight.
He's level 22, so he's got that extra duration, and he's just biting him up here already. I don't know if T1's ready for this wolf.
He starts making his way over. It's a big, bad rock wolf coming in, and Bristleback is already about to be dying here. Zephyr tries to jump in. Boom's already popped his BKB. A beautiful axe jump that is going to be able to once again destroy the back line. Carl throws what damage he can at Tofu, but that is looking like it's it right here. It's a Lycan plus Tiny lineup. You've got 4 dead with no buyback. That's it. T1 calls it GG. Gaimin Gladiators. They take the speed. They take the pace. They take the tempo. And, well, they didn't make it by 30, but 33 minutes, they close out the game. New here of T1 versus Gaimin Gladiators, where the experienced Southeast Asian team is actually down a game against Gaimin Gladiators, who is a team of relative newbies. I think this is something that we haven't actually discussed in this series. There are a lot of question marks about how successful Gaimin Gladiators would be on LAN, considering 4 of their players have not experienced international competition. Sure, they've all played in those Western Europe versus Eastern Europe, you know, like third-party tournaments and stuff. But when it comes to exposure to the rest of the world, almost none of these guys have had that chance. The one exception being the veteran Ace.
That just means they have less emotional scarring, you know, so that's a tough side.
Now that's words from a true veteran right there. I mean, experience equals emotional scarring.
I mean, look who's left at this tournament that's of the old guard, man. It's Moon Meander. We all know that guy. He's mental nutcase, basically. So.
Yeah, if anything, all the emotional scarring has just built him up to become stronger.
That's
probably walks around to his team. You know what? You want to know how I got these scars? I remember there was an anecdote about him telling his team about like the pressure that comes with TI and saying like, you guys don't understand, like land pressure and TI pressure. They're 2 different things.
That's true. And this is Gladiator's time to prove that they are immune to it. Being up a game, that's nice, but it doesn't get you to the next round yet. So series far from over.
Cuckoo. Going to take a lot of damage on the way out here from Dyrachyo and Tofu, which Synderen was saying. Powerful lane here. Powerful lane. Chaos Knight, Grimstroke. I do not want to face up against that ever.
And on the flip side, it lets this Enchantress lane for the Beastmaster, which historically, if you can't shut down Beastmaster on the early waves, he feels extremely good. Yeah. And the more solo XP he gets, he's also very happy with. So if Celery can just mess with Whitemon, give Ace that early good start where he doesn't have to invest in the regen because he wants to rush to that helm, he's going to be super happy with it. And Enchantress is generally one of the better heroes at just causing some early chaos.
Ooh, Gabby takes a lot of damage for it, but he did get that boar, which is very important when it comes to this Beastmaster lane. Yeah, that was a lot of damage. Not worth the trade, right?
Well, I mean, you take that boar. You take that boar, but...
it's a lot of experience,
It's not the easiest boar he's ever gotten.
No, certainly not. Well, maybe the faster level 2 will result in some sort of exchange. Cuckoo does take a lot of damage once again. Combination of Tofu and Dyrachyo's stunning power. Stroke of Fate. I mean, once they get level 2 and they have Reality Rift and Inkswell that on top, that's going to be incredibly potent. But the harassment game continues in this bottom lane. So once again, Gaimin Gladiators, not only the zoo, but also the strong preference in winning lanes.
These guys know how to set it up to work for them, too. It's something I think teams are prepared for at this point, but sometimes being prepared doesn't get you a better result. They are abusing that level advantage, though. That is the upside of getting these boar kills. There's another one.
Yeah, that was an interesting one.
And a salve cancel on the back of it, so some early little interactions going Gabby's way here. And it's going to be nice, because eventually this beast will be very annoying for this Tiny, level 5 to 6 range.
Yeah.
You're hoping you can get ahead of that curve. Build some space for Whitemon as well. This
Top lane going for the kill. Cuckoo, he's going to get hit by this Inkswell, and I think he's going to have a hard time surviving through it, but Tofu is also potentially going to die here. He gets off the last hit before Tofu goes down, so they do get the first blood for Dyrachyo. Dyrachyo will even deliver a couple blows to Zephyr as well. He just keeps on swinging. Keeps on hitting the Chaos Strike. Gets actually a second level of it as well, so no Reality Rift.
Where was that drunken brawler toggle? Could have gone for that evasion on the last hit.
Oh, true. True. Cuckoo.
This is the new tech, man. You gotta bust it out.
Yeah. He hasn't played the most amount of games of Brewmaster lately. Just 1 or 2 pubs of late.
Oh, this guy's Brewmaster is good. I'll tell you firsthand. And as long as he gets levels, he's gonna be pretty happy here. Ideally with this hero, you'd like to get to level 6 before the carry and you could just solo kill him. That's the real power of this hero.
Yeah.
Feels like I haven't seen that in forever because the early waves are difficult, especially versus a Grim CK, but...
Ace, he's going to get tossed back here into Whitemon. Whitemon's pretty low. Ace is not going to try and trade out the kills. He'll hide in the trees, and both will survive as a result. The boar does actually get denied by Celery, so something small that he can pull off. But it's just, they're just about to hit that crucial level 3 point, which is, I think, where the Beastmaster starts becoming way different to lane against.
Level 3, Helm of Iron Will. Now he's a real hero, you know?
True. Oh, he actually brought raindrops to lane, so Cuckoo knows he just has to try and tank up as much as possible to deal with the 100-0 possibility. As they just keep on going, and they've actually brought him down to half health again.
He went 1-0-2, so trying to abuse this new Drunken Brawler gives him some early extra armor, which is nice versus Chaos Knight. On top of the magic resist. Pretty interesting way to try and play the lane.
Yeah, that is interesting. 3 armor, that's quite a bit. We saw Whitemon earlier, just suiciding into the tier 2 tower. Gets a reset. Celery actually does open up the hard camp, so let's see if he can protect it for that 5-minute mark. If he can have that hard camp open with the siege wagon coming in a minute's time, that's going to be that could be a lot of time here.
This is a tough lane for T1 to play for the next few minutes, just because Whitemon, he doesn't really want to interact with these boars and the summons, and at the same time, he can't leave Gabby alone. So it's a question of how do you weather this storm that is inevitably building up here.
Top lane going in for again, Cuckoo. Trying to protect himself. 2 seconds stun. Duracio's going to need some big crits coming in here, but not actually getting it.
There's those toggles.
Whiff or two. Good job.
Got the miss.
He did. He got
Sends a
that
message.
value miss. That's better than any amount.
Another bolt.
Gets the leap away before it does land. Siege wagons are coming in now, so expect some moves around the map.
I wouldn't be surprised to see this Zephyr Mirana go bottom here. Potentially try and kill this beast before he gets to level 5 and 6 off a sleep or something.
Yeah.
Even if you kill his catapult, you're going to feel... It's going to relieve a little bit of pressure off this Tiny.
At the same time, it almost seems like the opposite. Celery's just like... He's actually going to leave the Beastmaster. They're not afraid of that kind of gank. He's going to put pressure.
More important.
That's true.
Zephyr
Especially for
feels
Storm. Storm is going to get hit by the split Earth from the high ground of Carl, and he'll pick up, snag that one away from Boom. And Boom actually has to use all his mana too, so that's a double win right there.
Seems like T1 has won the majority of these rune fights in both games. RNG going their way a little bit.
Yeah. Though that didn't stop them in game 1. They may have won the rune fights and they got the Roshans, but that still did not stop the inevitable push of Gaimin Gladiators.
Well, something to be said about it is I do feel like when all these supports go mid, Gaimin Gladiators felt better about it because they have some of these lanes where they're happy to build that pressure up like we're seeing here.
Yep.
Like, Cuckoo does not want to be left alone in this game, and at the same time, Gabby, he's not going to want to be bottom for alone too much in this game, whereas Ace is super happy to just get the solo XP. Build up his boar army here. Now, Whitemon, those are 2 level 3 boars.
Yeah, the arrow is going to be blocked out by the boar, and Boom's going to join in here to be able to get the kill on a Whitemon.
He has a roar now.
He does have a roar. They can actually turn this, but Carl's actually going to show up. A split Earth, the magic damage, it's not enough. Boom gets away just in time. Perhaps a little bit of help there from Ace with the roar, stopping the hit coming in from Gabby. And a Helmet Dominator complete for Ace.
This Duraccio CK, though, the real benefit of all of this chaos, it feels like. He is so far ahead for this early in the game. My God, this guy has a secret Midas or something? Like,
yeah,
what the hell is going on?
4,000 net worth? What?
I mean, he's doubling up Cuckoo off this lane.
He's only gotten 2 kills. I'm confused. Like this, I mean, one of them was first blood. Gabby goes for the toss back here, but the creeps are going to chase after him. It's a Satyr Mind Stealer.
Or he obs to see him.
Oh, nice play from Zephyr. Dropping that ward to be able to get the vision, finishing off the Storm Spirit kill. He's got 1 leap and 1 leap only to get out of here. Perfect angle. And it is going to be just enough to stay alive. Still, though, an incoming push, and T1 problems around as Cuckoo, again, as you were pointing out, doesn't want to be left alone in this lane, but they've got enough problems bottom lane. They've got to bring extra resources.
Trying to defend this tower, but this zoo is slowly building up, you know. Started out as a little local petting zoo. Now we're upgrading to the, what is it, Metropolitan Center?
Sure. Uh-oh. It's going to be a dead Leshrac. Do you think he should have gone, like, top instead? I mean, Cuckoo doesn't want him there because he's not level 6 yet.
Yeah, there's really nowhere else he can go. He's still level 5. But again, he can't be down here. It's just impossible.
Yeah, he's trying to pull the creep wave off the tower. Ace, it's nighttime, so he loses vision for that roar that surely would have gotten the kill.
100%. And this is where last game, that Lycan, it did a number on him. This game, they probably felt like the zoo was coming, trying to prepare for a little more. But their best interaction is this Brewmaster who got shut down on lane.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Zip in with the Inkswell. They're going to be able to chain stun up this Tiny, perhaps. He gets off the Avalanche, but ultimately the damage was still laid out there with
now Cuckoo's here.
Cuckoo is here, and he's going to need as many kills as possible with this ultimate. They're going to start off with Ace. He uses the roar and the extra movement speed to try and get out. He will not. Carl runs him down. But that bottom tower is still probably going to go down here with Celery pushing.
Arrow on mid?
Maybe? Oh, nice. Smart play there, Tofu. He tanks it up for him. President's bodyguard shows up just in time. And holds that 3,000 net worth lead for Gaimin Gladiators.
Would you take a bullet for me, Kat?
I would absolutely not.
What about in the game?
You think that changes anything, Avery?
You wouldn't tank that arrow. We all know. Tofu, he plays for the team.
He really does.
That is one of the nice combos with Mirana Brew. You can tornado off the end of this Brew ult, and a lot of times you get to set up for that extra arrow, the cherry on top. So it's something to look out for here, particularly for this Storm before he has BKB. It's one of those interactions he might not expect. Wasn't expecting it there. But you got to feel like this is Gaimin Gladiator's textbook type of game. Already a 3K lead at the 10-minute mark. Majority of that on Dyrachyo, who's just felt completely untouched in this game. All the attention is on this Enchantress beast lane, which has just caused so much chaos.
I was reading through the breakdown of net worth there on the Chaos Knight, and he was just up in every category over the time. He didn't necessarily come from one source. He's farming more neutrals, more lane creeps, got the hero kills. They've gotten more glyphs, or bounties rather. And as a result, okay, they got more bounties later, which resulted in more 50 more gold apparently. Either way,
this guy's got 100 CS. He had free farm. He had multiple offlaner kills. He's living the life.
He really is. And can they afford to leave a Chaos Knight? Like, Brewmaster is part of the shutdown for Chaos Knight, right? But do they have enough answers? Leshrac, Brewmaster, a total free farming Chaos Knight?
Just shifts more of the burden to Carl. That's what it feels like to me. And Leshrac can stand up to this hero, but in the later portions when he had things like Shivas and more of his tank ability, right?
Yeah.
These early portions, especially with the differential Dyrachyo's created, he's just going to shred everybody.
Yeah. I would love to see one of those early Blink Dagger builds from the Chaos Knight and just like pop Phantasm and just jump on the Leshrac and blow him up 100 to 0 as quick as possible.
Definitely a possibility. He's stopping by for the Echo Saber, it looks like. And
yeah.
T1 feeling the pressure, trying to make something happen here with this Mirana ult, but not finding anything. Even more wasted time for them. While Stellar, he's happy to hit this mid tower. Force somebody to show. Even Ace is here. Gaimin Gladiators, they're perfectly fine taking the fight if it comes to them. Haste on Boom as well. Feels a little bit like last game, where it's just, how does T1 start what they want to have happen without getting punished on the map for it?
Yeah.
Whereas Gladiators, they can choose what they want to do right now. You want to chip mid? Sure. I'm chipping it. My CK's farming Ancients. My Grim and Storm are off the map. Aces farming bottom. It's like everybody's getting to do what they want. T1 having issues responding to it.
It seems to me like Gaimin Gladiators just have much better answers. I mean, you described their playstyle to me earlier as like a very defensive focus where they're going to kind of like turtle it up and focus more towards their late game and their big mid and late game timings, and they're going to scale really well. And Gaimin Gladiators do not seem pressured a lot of times, even though they are taking the speed. Like at times like now, Dyrachyo this entire time, while T1 is being 5-man mid, he was farming up an Ancient stack. You know, like he's just getting bigger and bigger. In fact, he is looking at that Blink Dagger now as third item.
This is a very aggressive, very fast pace from this Chaos Knight. He's ready to help his team fight for that Roshan, which is next on their radar. I mean, Celery chipped this mid tower off, I think, 3 big neutral creeps just alone.
Yeah.
And T1 did not feel confident enough to try and stop him.
Yeah, who needs a Dark Troll Summoner? Just various neutrals from the Enchantress will finish it up by itself.
3-man Centaur Stomp from the
what
neutral.
a Centaur Stomp!
This guy's playing for one of these teams.
God damn. That's the MVP play right there.
That's
Someone give me a replay.
Reel.
Whitemon. Goodbye. Gaimin Gladiators on the hunt here. Boom. Gonna be able to find the Mirana with that Inkswell combination. That is just such a pretty chain stun. And T1, Kuku's gonna be in some trouble when he comes down. They actually found Carl, though. Carl, who you said was going to be the biggest factor in shutting down this Chaos Knight, a big kill in addition to the 3 that they already had on the side of Gaimin Gladiators. They are absolutely steamrolling T1.
This game is getting into very dangerous territory if it isn't already. I mean, what a Centaur Stomp, to be honest, and doing them no favors for sure.
No.
But Dyrachyo came in, he just killed the Wind Panda right off the bat.
Yeah.
Counterpick for what? Doesn't even matter. This is already a very steep uphill battle for T1. this Brewmaster is not a hero who can function when he's this far behind on levels, because he requires getting to his level 2 ult to deal with the effective tankiness that's going to be coming out from these Gaming Gladiators heroes. If it's not on him to deal with the summons and the illusions, who is?
Yeah.
More and more falling onto Karl's shoulders here.
That's cute. Did you see what happened? They waited until the creep spawned at 15 minutes, took the triangle together, quickly cleared out the Aegis. Instead of like blocking it, they just killed it. And now they're going to take Roshan for themselves. So a 15.5-minute Roshan, that's an Aegis for Boom. So this Chaos Knight is super online and ready to go. The Storm Spirit can now make all kinds of crazy plays with a second life. T1
Gotten everything they wanted out of this game.
Yeah, they really
Helm of the Overlord's already up on Ace. This is hard to push. This is hard to fight into, hard to shove lanes out first, because the Storm Grim can play the map on the back of the Beastmaster Vision. So we're going to see White Man. You're on a Hawk. See you later. There's just nothing to set up for, because the threat is all on Dire's side right now.
What are we waiting for T1? Is it just opportunity? Yeah, I'm not sure if there's really an item, one item that changes their game too much, right?
I mean, I would say the most influential in this game is like level 2 Brew ult and Ags, but
yeah,
we are a long way off from that. It's going to be a lot of stalling to get to that point.
Well, T1, they are one of the best teams at this major at being able to stall out a game, but simultaneously, Gaming Gladiators have shown themselves at being one of the best to lock it down. Boom. Long range jump. Got to be able to spot Karl and Duraccio
nice
right
dodge,
alongside him. Really good Nightmare dodge, but it's not going to be enough to be able to save Karl. And with Karl dead, boom, he may actually still die here, but remember, he has the Aegis double Primal Roar. Good setup there from the Grimstroke with Ace, following it up in an Inkswell on top that's going to be able to catch Gabby one by one by one. T1 will be falling here, and that's going to be a team wipe. Didn't even drop the Aegis. Know your place, says Tofu. Apparently, their place is back at the fountain.
Or the lower bracket here, and oof, this game just feels over at this point. It does not feel like you can muster any sort of comeback here, just because of how strong this Summon Zoo is this early, how well this beast is going to help his pickoff take over the map. This isn't even Storm's best timing, which is his BKB. He just has Aegis to play off of. Didn't even lose at that fight.
So they still got another 2.5 minutes to utilize that tool. Karl here farming Ancients, but not for long. Duraccio, they've already moved over. Fortunately for Karl, not so fortunate for Whitemon. He stumbles into the smoke rotation instead.
This is the strength of Beastmaster, honestly. When you start winning a game and you can take over areas of the map, he's one of the best at helping you hold that.
Yeah.
Because he can abuse these matchups that heroes have trouble interacting with him early, on top of giving you the vision to help other heroes play very confidently. Look at Celery right now. I mean, yeah, he's an Enchantress, but maybe he should have a bit more fear.
Yeah, they try and burst through the creeps, and they actually did manage to kill the creeps to allow the arrow to land. That gets the kill on Celery. Boom, maybe losing his Aegis here, but first Karl's going to go down. And now with the roar on Gabby, the follow-up Inkswell stun, Chaos Knight bolts. There's tons of stuns coming out from Gaming Gladiators. Reality Rift with the bind coming in from the Grimstroke. Going to be able to catch more of these heroes, but the Moonlight Shadow allows them to slip away into the night. Round 2 here for Boom, as they're going to continue the assault on this tier 2. Eventually, backdoor protection will fall.
Ace even picking up a drum to help them take that fight. More move speed for this Chaos Knight to engage. If you show heroes, Gaming Gladiators are going to jump them. That's pretty much the name of the game. Celery's happy to give his life there to give all the vision for that engagement.
Yeah.
No lack of damage for this side, I'll tell you that much.
And look at them, they are just
Cuckoo show top,
hunting down heroes. Cuckoo shows, immediately Boom, and the rest of the team is on their way. Cuckoo's dead. Zephyr forced to use all his leap charges, and the Chaos Bolt was still going out, so Duraccio is going to catch him as well. Nobody on T1 is allowed out on the map, it seems. Gaming Gladiators, they just continue to sweep back and forth across the map, not letting T1 find any of that farm. Look at him. There it goes again. 3-man smoke up. Use the Phantasm to push out mid. They're going to show a hero top. actively taking that tier 2. Yeah, the Hawk and the smoke rotation, so they're going to be able to find some heroes. Fortunately, the double damage is denied. It also gives Gabby a heads up. They need to get the hell out of here.
This map's just too easy to play for them right now. This is why they like this Enchantress.
Yeah.
She gives you the option to set up these dual lanes or tri-lanes in a way where you can enable some of your later cheese picks, give them a good game, and just accelerate out of control. On top of, she's just such an annoying support to deal with. If you close out the lanes this fast, she can frontline every smoke gank. You have to run through her. That's what Celery knows. He can just play so aggressive.
Yeah.
It's another factor limiting T1's comeback potential.
I mean, they're stepping out. The moment they do, there's Boom. Catches them, Primal Roar, no chance to pop the ultimate for Cuckoo. Once again, he's got a long cooldown ult that he's just never really being allowed to use. And Dyrachyo on the other side of things, he's got a 5-shot Carl.
Didn't even need the Phantasm. Just did it the old school way. That's not gonna feel great.
Okay,
a good grip.
Okay, big kill. Oh, but Dyrachyo's in. Nightmare self-save, but the Inkswell stun still lands on it too. They are still dead. Yeah, you got me, says Boom. Tips Whitemon. GG is already called by T1. Wow. What an absolute one-sided stomp by Gaimin Gladiators over T1.